Okay, so we're now going to do the heel. We've knit 40 rows. We set the front bed to knit and the back bed to 0. You can also set the back bed tension to 1. So we're now going to be ready to start knitting the heel. All I've done is I've repositioned the weights and put an extra weight in the centre. If you've got claw weights, use them. You need to move the weights in slightly as you go. When you actually reposition the weights, it's helpful when you put the weight on to put your fingers through the bed to stop it grabbing hold of the yarn on the back. If it does that, it won't add enough weight to pull the stitches down and you'll lose some stitches as you do in the heel. So, it's short rows. We knit one row from right to left. Carriage will only now knit on the front bed, it won't do anything on the back. We put one needle up into hold and knit back. By doing it on the side of the carriage, it's automatically wrapped the yarn around the needle, and that's the yarn wrap which will stop a hole from forming. Do the same on the other side, one needle into hold and knit back. One needle into hold and knit back. And we keep doing this until we're left with 12 stitches in the centre in work, the others will be in hold. You can tell when you need to move the weights in because the stitches will start to bunch up slightly. You can hold the weight ever so slightly. Just take your time with it. That was just my carriage catching on the road tripper. So the stitches here are starting to bunch up, so I know that I need to move my weight in. And the same on the other side. And my centre weight, I'm actually going to add one of the rubber weights to it. If you've got a hook weight there, a hook yarn grabber, add an extra heavy weight when you're doing sock heels. It will help definitely. So keep going, take your time. Mine doesn't like that row for some reason, so we'll take the carriage off. The needle out of alignment somewhere. And we'll just quickly unravel that row. Again. Sometimes too much weight can cause a problem. And the stitches are starting to bunch up slightly. So we're left with 6 stitches on the left, 7 on the right, and move the last one into hold. But on the left hand side we now bring 1 stitch halfway down, and this is going to start knitting back out from the heel. Reposition your weights if you need to. Sometimes when you knit across that stitch that you've just brought back into work, it can be a bit tough. Now on the other side, bring 1 needle back down into work and knit across. Remember to move your weights up and back out this time. As you can see, I'm doing a little tab occasionally to get the carriage past that last stitch. But as you get towards the last few, it's very, very easy. Nearly there. And last one on the right, and that's your heel done. You can then move your weights back up. And what we need to do, using either 1 or 2 double-ended bodkins or other tools, is move far left-hand stitch up to its opposite needle and the back bed stitch down to the front bed needle, so you're crossing those 2 stitches over, and that's on both ends of the bed. If you've only got 1 double-eyed bodkin, take that stitch off the bottom and you can move it up to the top, empty needle just to hold it, take the far left hand needle, which is number 15 left on the back bed, move it down, and then the stitch that you had holding, just move in 1 place. So, we've knitted the heel, we've knitted the foot, we just need to knit the length of the sole. Reset your row counter to 0, set both carriages to circular, and tension on both beds back to 6, or whatever your main tension is. Knit the first row slowly. Make sure everything's knitted and stitches don't bunch up. Okay, everything looks fine to me, and we can now carry on knitting. So I'm going to knit a total on this sock of 100 on the row counter, which will be 50 rows. It will produce a shorter sock, but this is just as a demonstration. A normal adult sock's roughly 100 to 110 rows on the row counter. I take a larger foot size, so for a UK size 10 or 11, about 110, 120 rows. But I'll just knit about 50 rows on this, and I'll come back to you in a second.